set yourself up with a couple of blocks. You might also like a strap. Got a blanket too, and they'll all be helpful as we move through our practice today. Just take a moment to set yourself up. We're going to use the blocks and the blanket right away. So, blocks onto the mat, back behind you where you can find them. Give me 1 second here. And the blanket we're going to use as well. So you could use a towel or something blanket-like. So if you open it up, you can get it a little bit wider. You could even fold it in half, but this should work in about 1/4. We're just going to make it into a nice kind of long roll so that we can take the feet together, take the blanket kind of horseshoe style around the feet, and we want to have enough blanket so that it does reach the outer thighs. And then block number 1 is going to be kind of medium height. So kind of right there in the middle space. We want to plant it right under the bottom tips of the shoulder blades and lie back on it. And then block number 2, you probably would prefer a little higher, right? Or you could take it as low as block number 1. And somewhere around the back of the skull, where the skull and the spine come together. It's nice to take a hold of the edges of the blanket, or to draw your heels in a little bit closer if they'll go there. And I like to pick the hips up a little bit, lengthen the tailbone out to the heels, and create some length in the low back. And then your outer legs can set down on the blanket roll and get a nice stretch through the inner thighs. Here we'll take the arms wide side. And just make sure everything's just right, so you want to feel your body draping over the blocks and the blanket. And ease on the breath. Let's give it a full deep inhale all the way to the top. Let go out the mouth with a sigh. Just all the way to empty. And we'll start some 3-part breathing. Give yourself a nice smooth inhalation from the tip of the nose all the way down into the belly. And let it go. You might note that with our heart a little higher than our belly, the organs get to move out of the way and we get all that space to bring our diaphragm down. We can really get a good breath in this position. So make the next breath a little fuller. Let the breath move down into the belly and up into that block, right? So you're moving your breath into your back and out to the sides. Letting the sides of the waist expand and fill. And then hug the belly to the back as you get all the breath out. Always go for that little bit of lengthening through the tip of the tail. It's not a tucking of the tail, but just a little bit of space being created for your low back. And then another full inhale, belly, sides of the waist, all the way to the top chest. Out again, nice and steady and slow. And we'll do that again, 3 parts. If you want to take the arms out a little further or a little bit higher towards overhead to make it a little more interesting, go for it. Inhale. From the tip of the nose, chest to belly. Exhale. Belly to the back, all the breath out. Inhale, belly sides of the waist. All the way to empty. Releasing, relaxing, and melting over your support. Another full inhale, as big and deep as you can make it. Fill the belly, fill the sides, and move the breath all the way up to the top of the chest. See if you can feel the collarbones move away from the sternum. Breath reaches all the way out to your fingertips. And empty it out again, softening on the exhale. Let's enjoy one more round. Inhale fully. Into the belly. All the breath out. breath deeper, belly and sides of the waist. Smooth exhale back out through the nose. Full in breath, belly, sides of the waist, top, chest. And soften and relax, exhaling. Just a couple of rounds of Ujjayi. You can use the hands, you bring them in a little closer. It's nice to press down through the forearms to give yourself a little lift up. We're going to come up off the block, so move them out of the way. You can take the blanket off to the side as well. And we're going to move right back onto the back. So enjoy a moment flat on the back now and let everything rest. Bring the heels in close enough to touch, fingers to your heels. And just take a moment to feel the lower back. Should have its natural curve return. We get the back of the pelvis on the ground. Try and get the right side and the left side side by side. Shoulders well down the back. So you feel all three big bony plates on the back. The shoulder blades in the back of the pelvis, the sacrum there, just rooted and anchored to the earth. Let's take the arms straight up to the sky, breathing in. Breathe out here. Let's draw the upper arms down towards the earth and even press the upper arms into the mat a little bit. See if you can snuggle your shoulders a little deeper down towards the hips. Then we'll spin the pinkies in a hair and take the arms about halfway overhead. Notice if you start to come into a big curve in your lower back here, and go ahead and exhale, squeeze the belly to the back. Lengthen the tailbone all the way out towards your heels. See if you can get the back of your ribs, the lower 12th rib, connected to the mat. Give yourself an inhale all the way down into the belly and fill out into the sides. And all the way to empty, softening the front body into the back body. Feel the bottom part of the rib cage, bottom sternum, hug in towards the navel. And maybe you can get the arms a little further overhead, just for a breath or two. Shoulder blades stay well down the back. One more deep inhale. Reaching through the fingers and out through the tail. Let's exhale, hug the right knee in towards the chest. Give it a little squeeze. If you aim the knee right in towards the center of the chest, you might run into a little restriction there. If you take the knee out a hair to the right, sometimes you get a little more room to hug the knee in. Let's bring the hands back behind the right thigh now and extend up through the right heel. So as your hands interlace behind your right thigh, try and get them down towards where the pelvis and the thigh bone meet. And then we're going to reach the right thigh bone away from the body, push it into the hands. So you can feel the very top of the right femur descending towards whatever's in front of you. You want to feel the right hip and the left hip as side by side as you can manage. Try to even get the natural curve to return to the low back. And as you breathe here, firm up the entire right leg for another breath. Get all the breath out. We'll start to bend the knee, and you can get your right hand to the little toe side of the right foot. We're going to start to pull that knee down. So again, it might be a little to the right, so you can find that flexion, but just notice what happens in your hips if they go sideways. So see if you can feel the root of the right thigh bone still reaching. Well, it's now kind of reaching up a little bit, isn't it? So it's descending, but descending towards the ceiling. And now we've got the left leg and the right hip trying to maintain that side-by-side feeling. We're going to reach the left leg all the way out on the earth. Press out through the heel. So it's like a lunge on the sky. You could even take your left hand to the top of the left thigh. We want the top of the left thigh descending down. Let's try and lift the left heel up an inch or two. Squeeze the left outer leg in until you can soften the left inseam towards the earth. And then really reach out through that left heel and top of the left thigh down to the ground. Set the whole left heel down if that feels right. And continue to see where you can get a little more out of the right side, but without letting that right hip come all the way up into the rib cage. We want to keep the right hip reaching away from the body, descending down. So we still feel the hips as side by side, right and left as possible. Give it another breath. And then we'll slide the left leg back in. We can take the right ankle beyond the left knee and thread the needle. So around the back of the left leg or all the way around the left shin, whatever you prefer. Flex the right foot. And where your right thigh bone meets the pelvis, again, move it away from the body. So if you want to take your right thumb and push it in that little crease between the pelvis and the thigh, go ahead and sink it in there and work to drop it down. That's the action you want to find on that side. And then come back over to the left and hug in. Draw the shoulder blades down onto the mat. You might even get the natural curve to return to your low back and back of the pelvis to rest on the earth. Maybe. Let's feel into what's possible today. Give it another breath here. Stretch into that outer hip a little bit. And then we'll release and set it down. And we'll go right over to the other side, heels in where you can touch. Let's inhale the arms all the way up overhead. And then we're going to exhale, draw the left knee in towards the chest. Take it straight down the center line for another breath. And then move it a little to the left. See if we can get a little more out of it there. Just notice if the left hip is hiked up higher than the right one, and you might have to move it a little bit back up, right, to find that place where you can take control of the left femur and where it plugs into the pelvis, and it's trying to reach away from the body. Trying to get the right hip and the left hip side by side. We'll get behind the back of the left leg and extend up through the left heel. You can firm the front of the left leg. As you push the left thigh into the hands, try and draw the shoulder blades down the back. Keep those three bony plates connected to the earth. Maybe the natural curve in the low back, but not a big one, right? Just a little natural one. Another breath here. And as you're ready, you can start to bend into the left knee, get the outside edge of the left foot, and draw down. Feel again if you've gone a little sideways or if you're rolling over to the left. Try to get the right side and the left side planted, grounded, even as possible. And then we will reach out through the right leg. So this time, let's push out through the heel, pull back through the toes there on the right foot. You might have to suck the right thigh bone back up into the pelvis a little bit. Let's lift the heel up and squeeze the outer thigh in. Try and soften the inseam of the right leg down. The whole top of the right thigh, as well as the right heel into the earth. And the breath steady and strong. We'll see what you can get out of the left side, if there's any more give, if there's any more opening in those inner thighs, inner groins. Give it a last breath here. And then as you're ready, we slide right leg back in. We'll take the left ankle beyond the knee. We'll go for a little thread the needle. Hug it in. Just a couple breaths. Keep the left foot awake. Keep the right knee drawing in, but the left hip reaching away. So thumb can go into the hip crease. Up to drop it down. You can leave it there, bring it back through. Thread the needle. Let's give it another breath or two here. All right. And then as you're ready, set both feet down for a moment. You can bring the soles of the feet together and grab the inner shins, inner ankles. Let the knees go wide. And get a hold of the outside edges of both feet and head up into a little happy baby. Can you keep the back of the pelvis grounded, the shoulder blades anchored to the mat, like a nice deep squat. Breathe well. Give it a last breath here. And we'll come out the same way we got in. Soles of the feet together, hands to the outer legs. Draw the knees in, feet down. Plant them about hip width, maybe a little wider. Let's inhale the arms up overhead, palms together. We're going to exhale, squeeze the belly to the back. You might need to take your feet out a little further. So your feet don't leave the ground. You want to coil up, shoulder blades up off the earth. We're going to inhale all the way back. And exhale. Hold the breath out. Reach, reach, reach. Shoulder blades up. Make sure you're not reaching with your head too much, your eyeballs, but reach with the power of the belly hugging down to get the shoulder blades up. And then we're going to add a little more momentum. Breathe in and breathe out. Go up. And try and reach. Lock your thumbs and reach, 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 reach to the sky. Big inhale. And then we're going down. Exhale. Palms come together. Shoulder blades pull down and try and go down with control. Belly to the back. You can lock the thumbs if you like as you inhale overhead. Shoulder blades integrated onto the back. Exhale. Reaching all the way up and through. Inhale. Rising. And exhale. Coming back down. So you can lock the opposite thumb. Breathing in. Breathing out. Inhale. Pull the thumbs apart a little bit. Shoulder blades down the back. Exhale. Squeeze the belly to the back. Keep the front of the chest wide. A few more. In and out. Last round here, all the way up. Keep reaching on the inhale. And we're going to exhale, hands down, behind the back. You can point your fingers in, give yourself a little lean back. Draw the upper arms back, shoulder blades down and into your upper back. And even get the head and the neck involved. So chin in a little bit, back of the neck long. Give it a nice big inhale, pressing shoulder blades into the back. You can exhale all the breath out, belly to the backbone. Let's take a reverse table here. Rising all the way up. Really press those hands and feet, lengthen the tail. Work to get the chest nice and open through the front. Exhale. Another deep breath in. Let's come all the way down. Try and keep that big arch in your upper back and bring some into the low back. Try and land on your sitting bones. Just a little fuller on the in-breath, and then knees up and in on the exhale. A little variation of Navasana. See where you can get a little more open if it's available, and feel free to reach the arms forward. And a couple of breaths here. Chin in, back of the neck long. Upper arms back, shoulder blades down and into the upper back. Kind of pushing that chest nice and forward. Give it a last breath, and then we're just going to cross the heels, shift it forward onto all fours. And as you find yourself on hands and knees, we're just going to take a second to open up the wrists. So let's turn the fingers out sideways. You can take a moment here to rock a little side to side, front to back. And just deepen those shoulders down the back. Give yourself an inhale. Then exhale, we'll round. Taking a couple cat's breath in the hands in this position. Breathe in, open up the chest. A little softening the spine between the blades, and exhale. All the way to empty head and tail dropping. Belly to the backbone. Let's inhale, bring the chest forward. And exhale, if you want to get your hands so that your fingers point all the way back to your knees, or as far as they go, go for it. Again, inhale. Find that little bit of cat's breath. Open up through the chest. Exhale. Belly to the back, head and tail dropping. Really ground through those hands. Get every fingertip pressing into the earth. And another deep breath in. And all the breath out. Let's bring it forward, inhaling. Spin those hands around, find a neutral spine, exhale. Curl the toes under if they're not already there. Give that heart a little opening, more of that natural cat's breath, and then we're going to exhale, coil hug the belly up and in until we get a nice flat back, and we'll get the knees up off the earth. We'll take a couple breaths here. So opening up the chest, a little softening of the spine between the blades, hugging the belly up and in enough that we can feel that axial extension straight out through the crown of the head and straight back through the tail. Let's go for a little cat's breath here. Inhale, open up the heart. Exhale, round the spine. Keep the knees up. Drop the head and tail down. And just a couple more. Opening on the inhale and emptying out on the exhale. Let's work to externally rotate those upper arms. Spin the biceps. Eye the elbows forward as you draw the shoulders down the back. Widen collarbones away from sternum in the front and all the way out. Empty it. One last time. Inhale. Keep that little opening in the chest, shoulders deep down the back, and let's send the hips high to the sky for our first downward facing dog. Walk the feet back a little wider. Feel free to keep the dog pose a little shorter if you'd like. Definitely go wide on the first one. And reconnect to the hands. The entire palm, but especially the inner hand, right under the thumb and pointer finger grounding down. I'm going to take the upper arms and move them away from the ears. And try and wrap the inner upper arm towards the sky, biceps and eye the elbow reaching to the ceiling now. Triceps wrap towards the earth. Feel those lats turn on deep in the inner upper arm, engaging all the way back through the sides of the waist, as if our hands were going out of our lower back or our sacrum. A strong push through the hands, connected all the way back through the sides into the low back. Where can you create a little more opening in the heart? A little more softening. And where can you keep that lengthening in the low back? So feel free to lift the heels, bend the knees. Aim your sitting bones high to the sky and feel the lower back get more spacious. And move the weight. Tops of the thighs, right where they meet the pelvis, reaching back first. The inner thighs trying to go back more than the outer legs. So you get the tops of the inner thighs opening and spreading, and the back of the pelvis widening as we lengthen out low back. Give it another breath here. Let's walk the hands slowly back to the heels. Get all the weight in the heels. Take a moment to fold in half. Dangle the head. Rock around a little, side to side. Right under the big toe and inner heel. Get a good pressure down and a nice lift up through those inner arches. See if you can brighten the inner arches all the way up through the inner thighs to the pelvic floor. Give the outer legs a hug in. Feeling inner and outer leg awake. And front and back of the leg also working evenly to get the weight grounded right under the toes and the balls of the feet and back into the heels. And a last breath here. Let things dangle. Relax. And we're going to come out halfway, reaching on the inhale. Use your fingertips, use your blocks if you need to get extension all the way out to a flat back. And then we're going to bend the knees and draw those hips back to the heels, sink into malasana, so a nice deep squat. So as you drop down, we want to push the arms out into the legs, and we want to hug the legs into the arms. We're going to move the upper arms back, shoulder blades down and into the upper back. Widen the front chest and sink into those hips. Deepen into those inner thighs. Give it another breath or two here. Seeing if you can get your heart a little closer to your thumbs and your thumbs a little closer to your heart. Nice big inhale. Let's exhale. Fold back in. Uttanasana. You can heel toe the feet in so you're more in that classic shape with your feet, your knees, and your hips all in one line. You always want to get the outside edges of the feet parallel with the outer mat. Weight back in the heels. Put a little bend in those knees and start to walk your hands forward and out. Steady and slow. Weight into the heels as you walk your way forward. See if you might get a little longer on this one. Continue to widen out through the front body. Opening up through the top chest. Deepening shoulders down the back and broadening them wide apart. Wrapping the arms in through the sides of the waist, connecting the hands back to the hips as if they are growing out of your sacrum. The thigh bones working really strong to pull back. If you need the heels up and the knees bent, go for it. But the tops of the thighs reaching so your lower back gets longer and more spacious. Steady, smooth breathing. We'll inhale to plank. Couple breath here. So I'll try and find that little softening in between the shoulder blades and extension out through the crown. Let's hug the belly up and in, and even feel the very tops of the thighs lifting up where they meet the pelvis. Tailbone lengthening back to the heels as we hug the belly up and in. And if you lose that softening in the upper back, go for it as you inhale. Try to deepen the belly. Bottom sternum to navel as you exhale. Get a little longer. Breathe in. Knees to the earth if you need it. Otherwise, with straight legs, we're going forward and down. You got to pull your toes in towards your hands. Pull your hands back towards your toes. Keep breathing. Lengthening and deepening. Steady, smooth, all the way to the earth. When you land, let your forehead touch ground and your belly lift up as you exhale. And tailbone back to those heels, tops of the feet into the mat. Inner thighs higher than the outer thighs. Inhale. Upper arms, draw back. Shoulder blades go down, and they push forward to open the chest, cobra. Exhale, lower, belly to back. Forehead to the earth. Inhale, rise. Keep it extending. Try not to use your glutes here. Open up the back of the pelvis. Allow the tailbone to extend back. Squeeze the belly up and in, and lengthen. From the front of the pelvis, get as high as it feels good. Exhale, stay up. Squeeze the belly back and in, and release the hands back by the hips. Can you get all 10 toes in the earth, especially the little toes? Inner thighs higher than the outer thighs. Tailbone back to the heels. And if you want to interlace here, go for it. Drop those shoulders down the back. Chin in, back of the neck long. One last breath. And then we'll exhale, lower down. Curl the toes under, plant the hands by the sides of the waist. Inhale fully. Exhale, press to plank. Inhale and plank. And exhale back, downward facing dog. Take a moment. Let's lift up high through the heels, soften the knees, round through your lower back, and look forward between those hands. Get springy. Take a little step or a big step, a hop if that feels good. Lengthen out at the top of the mat. Fold a little deeper on the exhale. And let's bring hands to hips now. Breathing in. Squeeze belly to back. And shoulder blades into the back to rise all the way to stand. We'll take a moment standing tall. Feet grounding. All four corners working. Inner foot right under the big toe and inner heel. Anchor to the earth. Squeeze the outer shins in enough that you try and figure out what those outer arches feel like when they turn on. Tops of the thighs going back. Enough to make room for the tailbone to root. Front of the pelvis to rise. Find that lovely lift out of the pelvic floor. All the way up the front of the spine. Let's turn the palms forward. Give it a nice deep breath in, extending the arms to the sky. Exhale, swan dive it out, or take the hands down the center line. But pick your pelvis up off the thighs and work to pour your nice long spine over top the legs. So always bend the knees and soften in as much as you need. We're going to come out halfway, inhaling. Back to flat. Activate your upper back, and then all the way to empty. All the breath out. Let's press and rise all the way back to standing. Shoulders into the back to give you that wide chest, and then center it, ground it. Feel the middle. Feel free to touch your brow, your heart, and let your thumbs even graze the navel as you get all your breath out. We circle back up, inhaling. Exhale, fold in half. I'm going to lengthen the heart forward, and we're going to move the right leg backward. So pause here for a moment. Nice big inhale. Now we're lunging. We're going to pull the left thigh back, try and sink it towards the earth. Very top of the right thigh, reaching for the sky. And if you can lengthen from right heel to crown, nice big inhale. We'll exhale. Step it back into plank. Breathe in and breathe out. Knees are straight, legs, chaturanga. You can go all the way to the earth for cobra or over the toes and into the upward facing dog. Nice deep inhale. Exhale back, down dog. All the breath out. Let's give it a big breath in. And all the way to empty. We'll take the right leg and reach it up and back, inhaling. Try and ground down through all three extremities on the earth. Keep the dog pose and exhale. Right foot up in between the hands. Lengthen all the way out here. Let's plant the left hand inside the right foot. Try and pull the right thigh back. Hug the midline a little bit with it and drop it to the earth. Top of the left thigh reaching for the sky and lengthening from left heel to crown. Let's inhale, right arm, straight side. Then exhale, feel the side plank through the left hand. Dial that left bicep forward as you move all the breath out. Twist to the right. Breathe in, top of the back thigh, and drop the right hip. And roll open a little bit further, exhaling. Another breath or two. If you want to turn your right palm forward, you can breathe in here and take the right arm over the ear. Just keep the shoulder deep down the back. Full inhale. Exhale, twist a little further. We're going to inhale fully. Back heel to crown and fingertips. And exhale, pivot to the left. Point your toes in and your heels out. Come out halfway. Bring your hands to your hips. Belly to your back. Then press those shoulders in to rise all the way up. Let's bring the hands behind the back as we hug the belly to the back. So we want to inhale, lift the shoulder heads up, shoulder blades down, and into the upper back. And then a full breath in, all the way to the top chest. And we'll fold out, squeezing front and back together. Your arms are going to move overhead. Work to keep the weight back in the heels. Right, inner heels, big toe mounts. And then inner legs awake. We soften the inner thighs back and hug the outer legs in enough to feel stability. Let's release the hands to the earth. Come out halfway. And whatever you need to do here to keep your back flat. Some people might just make it a super long, like downward facing dog. Otherwise, you may bring your hands back for Prasarita Padottanasana A, dropping the head, lifting the sitting bones, working the shoulder blades into the back, dropping the crown as you lengthen the sitting bones straight up. Can you continue to open the chest here? Get freedom around the front with the shoulder blades deepen into the back. And then we'll come back out again, halfway reaching. Hands onto the hips, exhaling, and rise to stand. Let's turn the right toes dead ahead and the left heel out a little bit so the left hip's in neutral. Arms wide side, nice big inhale. We're going to externally rotate that right femur as we exhale. Roll it out and reach out through the right side body for triangle pose. So a couple breaths here. Outer leg is often preferred to inner leg. It just gives your heart a little more opening. If you've got a block nearby, you can always use that for support. We want to press under the right big toe. Keep the inner foot grounded. Feel your right outer hip and see if you can roll the thigh bone externally so you feel the sitting bone on the right side moving under to the left a little. The more you can pull the left leg straight back to the wall behind you, the more space you'll get. The left hip will stack on top of the right. Give it another breath here. Big inhale. We're going to exhale, hands down to frame the right foot. Lift the left heel and straighten the right leg as you drop left knee to earth. Exhale. Let's lengthen out fingertips or blocks and take a couple breaths in the half splits. So you don't have to get super far to be effective. You do want to hinge where the hips are, meeting your thigh bones. We want to try and find extension through the spine. Open chest and lengthen out through the crown. Give it a last breath here. And as you're ready, we'll move it forward. Inhale. Into the low lunge. Just pause here for a breath. Pull that right thigh back, sink it down. We'll power up the back leg, big inhale. And step into the front leg, exhale. Lengthening, deepening, and rising to stand. Let's take it down the center, all the breath out. Come back in on a fresh breath for the second side, arms up. Exhale. Pelvis up over the thighs. So the thighs stay straight up and down. Lengthen out. And the left leg goes back. Breath or two here. Right thigh pulling back, squeezing in. Lengthen the left heel all the way out through the crown. We'll exhale. Inhale and plank. Use your straight legs, chaturanga. Up dog or cobra. And back to the downward facing dog. Left leg up. And right up in between the hands. Let's lengthen out. Sink the left hip. Power up the top of the right thigh. Can you get a little longer here? We'll plant the right hand inside the left foot. Inhale, left arm straight side. Exhale. Open up. Breathe in. Right shoulder blade down the back. Belly and back working together. Extending all the way from the right heel out through the crown. You can turn the left palm forward and drop the left arm over the ear. Breathe in. Breathe out. Twist a little deeper. Inhale fully. And exhale, pivot to the right side now. Come out halfway on the inhale. Hands to hips as you exhale. Inhale, rise. Exhale, belly to the back and hands dropping behind the back. Keep the tail long and the front ribs in as you breathe up through the sides. Try to lift out of those lower back ribs. All the way top of the chest. And then folding in. Prasarita, Padottanasana C. Keep moving shoulder blades into the back. Sitting bones high to the sky. Chin in, crown drops down. You can take a moment here. Release the hands. You can do what you did on the first side. Prasarita A or a super wide downward dog if you want to mix it up a little. Grab the big toes with the thumb, middle, and index and fold in for Prasarita D. Try and move the shoulder blades up, away from your head towards the hips and into the upper back. Encouraging your heart to move towards the thighs. Give it a last breath. We'll come out halfway, inhaling. Hands to hips, exhaling. And press to rise. Sitting up the left side for Trikonasana. Left toes dead ahead, right heel back. It's about heel to heel. Opening up belly and heart to the side and exhaling, lengthening out through the left side body. We want to feel the inside of the left foot grounded under the big toe and inner heel, but the outer left hip trying to hug under a little towards the right side. So there's an external rotation of the left femur. Nice kind of pull back through the whole entire right leg, making space for left hip to get under and right hip to stack. Give it a last breath or two here. And when you're ready, frame the left foot, pick up the right heel, right knee down, left leg straight. Just pull those toes back. Use your blocks or your fingertips to extend your spine out of the pelvis. Left heel pushes the earth, left hip pulls back. And try and keep a little micro bend in the left knee. Lengthen out. Fold in. Just keep inner listening. Stay curious. Noticing difference between sides. Let's inhale. Come into the low lunge and exhale. Lengthening from the right knee all the way up through the crown. Breathing in and breathing out. Let's power up the back leg. Inhale. Step into the front leg. Exhale. Inhale. Rise to stand. And exhale. Center and ground. Take it down the midline. All the breath out. All right. Take a full inhale. Nice, peaceful exhale. I'm going to touch the earth and inhale Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale here, squeeze front and back together. Bottom sternum moves to the navel. And if you can, feel where the shins sit on top of the ankles. Work to pull back a little there. Knees on top of the ankles, inner thighs softening to the earth. And shoulder blades pressing into the back to uplift the chest. Let's exhale, fold into Ardha Uttanasana, sweeping the hands behind the back. Give yourself a big inhale. Lengthen out from the sitting bones to the crown. Exhale. All the breath to empty. Touch the earth. Inhale. You're in chair. Exhale. Hands behind the back, interlaced. And back on the inhale. All the way up. And then into the half Utkatasana. With a nice big wide open chest. Come back in. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Deep breath in here now. And then exhale, fold over the thighs. Oh, Uttanasana with the arms up overhead. Don't need to straighten the legs ever. Release the hands when you're ready. Lengthen out halfway and step back to plank. Nice deep inhale. We're going to roll to the right side for right side plank. Try and get the rest right under the shoulder. Front ribs in, inner thighs buoyant, tailbone long. Couple deep breaths. And second side as you're ready. Find length and plank. Inhale. Exhale. Drop that left shoulder down the back. Squeezing front and back together. Side plank. A few breaths. All the way to full. All the way to empty. Give it a full breath in. Come down. Chaturanga through the vinyasa. Or skip vinyasas anytime you need. Pause in dog. And we'll all meet there. Downward facing dog. Give it a breath. On a fresh breath, we'll take the right leg up and back. And step it right up in between the hands. Lengthen out, big inhale. And then hop the left foot a little left grounded down as you exhale. We're going to squeeze the right outer leg in. Work to lift up through the left inner arch by pressing down under big toe and inner heel and squeezing left outer thigh into the middle. Feel the left outer hip move a little forward in space. And give yourself a nice big inhale all the way from the back heel out to the crown. Let's exhale. Squeeze front and back together, belly to the backbone. See if you can root your tailbone to the left heel. And then get a little longer. Sweep the hands back by the hips. Exhale. Arms out by the ears. Drop your tail and lift your torso. Keep pulling the right thigh back. Keep lifting left inner arch and squeezing left outer thigh in. And rising up. Root down through the tail. So we want to feel the right thigh pulling back. Right outer hip squeezing in and dropping to the earth. The back leg is the majority of the work in this pose. Get that left heel into the earth. Get the inner arch on. The outer leg hugging the midline enough. You can feel that outer hip trying to move forward in space to get closer to the right one. And we lift the pelvis up off the thighs. Root the tail down. Let's give it a big breath in. And bring the hands behind the back. Squeeze your belly to your back. Uplift the chest here. And bottom sternum to navel. Exhale. Give it another breath. Chin and crown long. Exhale. All the breath out. Inhale. Arms up. And exhale. Release. Chaturanga through your vinyasa. Stay in the flow. Over to the left side. Reach it up and back, breathing in. Right up in between the hands, breathing out. Get long. And hop the right foot, ground it down. We'll spend a few breaths setting up on this first one. The left leg pulls straight back, squeezes the middle, a little through that outer leg and drops. Left hip straight down towards the earth, through the sitting bone. Can you get the weight into the right foot, all the way back into the right heel? And can you find a powerful lift out of the right inner arch? It helps to press down under the big toe and inner heel. With that brightening, really brighten up all the way past the inner knee. Protect your knees. And squeeze right outer thigh in towards the middle until that right outer hip comes up and forward. You feel the back of the pelvis widen. Tailbone lengthen to that back heel. Give yourself a full inhale. Squeeze belly to back. And then inhale, shoulders press into the back. Arms out by the ears, exhale. One long line from that back heel to crown. The tailbone drops. Left leg pulls back, right outer thigh squeezes. You make your way up. Utkatasana 1. Let's work to refine it for a breath or two. Can you get the right heel into the earth? A very Top of that right inner thigh, softening back towards the wall behind. Then we'll drop the hands behind the back, exhaling. Give yourself a nice big inhale. Shoulders will help inform the hips. Squeeze belly to back, root tailbone to the earth. Give it another breath. Can you feel the belly, the sides, all the way to top chest? Empty it out again. Releasing the arms, bottom of the exhale. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, release. Chaturanga, flowing through your vinyasa. Back to dog pose. Full breath in and full breath out. Couple more. Deep, easy breaths. The right leg rises on a fresh breath in. Right back up to Virabhadrasana 1. Set it down, rise it up, one full breath to the top. Exhale. Sweep the hands behind the back. Inhale. Work to open up the chest. Keep pulling right thigh back. And we're going to squeeze belly to the back and work to round in to the humble warrior. So that right hip is not going off to the right. It's hugging in towards the left. Left inner thigh is going back. And your head drops down to your right inner ankle. Arms as far up overhead as they feel comfortable. Get all the breath out. Releasing the hands and inhale. Keep the hips low. Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale. Chaturanga. And we'll rise, opening the heart and returning to downward facing. Left leg going up and back. Right up in between the hands. Root it down and inhale up. Exhale. Sweep the hands behind the back. Tailbone to the earth. Belly into the backbone. And try and keep your lower back long and spacious. Breath to the very top of the chest without a big curve in the low back. Exhale, round through your lower back. Squeeze the belly to the back. Keep hugging that left hip in and weight into the right heel. Trying to get your head down towards that left inner ankle. Couple breath. Exhaling. All the breath out. Release the hands and inhale back up. Vira 1. Chaturanga. Through your vinyasa. And we'll land. Back and down dog. Couple of deep breaths. Lift the heels high, soften the knees deep. Step or float to the top of the mat. Lengthen out. Deepen in. And rise on up to stand. You can move through chair or a flat back. You choose. Rooted down the center line. Exhaling. So we're going to move to tree pose next. We'll stand on the left leg and draw the right knee up into the chest. Give yourself a nice rooting through the inner foot. And then right foot high to the left inner thigh. You can always place it on the earth, around left ankle if you need to. And feel your hips for a moment. Try to get things level, right and left, front and back, up and down. Any expression you want to give it through the arms. Steady gazing, steady breathing. Release when you're ready. Take it right over to the second side. Left knee in towards the chest. Left foot high to the right inner thigh. Right thigh presses outer to inner. Left foot presses inner to outer. We're going to find the front of the pelvis lifting. Tailbone lengthening. Hips as level as we can. Right and left, front and back. And an ease up and down. Last breath here. I'm going to set the feet down wide and keep the arms up. You can lock your thumbs. Give yourself a nice big inhale. We're going to exhale. Squeeze the belly to the back. We're going to pull back into those hips. We're going to take several breaths sitting deep into our squat. So continue to lift the shoulders into the upper back. Draw the shoulder blades down the back and hug front and back together. Bottom sternum to navel. Knees trying to stay on top of the ankles. Inner thighs got to soften and outer legs hug a little. We keep rising up through the arms and sinking in through the hips. Rising and sinking until we find ourselves all the way down. Couple breaths. And then when you're ready, you can release your hands down. Give yourself a little snuggle in. So here we do want to squeeze the arms into the legs again. Press the legs out into the arms. Continue to breathe well. You can breathe right here. Or if you have a practice of Utkatasana, right, we're going to plant the hands. We're to externally rotate the upper arms. Knees go back in up under the deltoids there. And one or both heels. We're going to rise. Can you straighten the arms in this position? Can you get your chest any wider? And your belly any deeper? Big breath in. Step it or float it back. Chaturanga. Nice big inhale, up dog or cobra. And we'll land back, downward facing dog. Give it a breath. Let's take the right leg up and back. I'm going to step it right up for Virabhadrasana 2. Have a block somewhere around the right foot. We're going to go heel to heel or a little bit narrower. You can reach your left arm forward and rise it up. Same external rotation we did in the triangle in the beginning. Work that femur. Try and lift the left leg and pull it straight back. See how low can you go? Want the front of the pelvis rising, back of the pelvis feeling long and spacious. It's almost like that right hip is lengthening the right side waist as that sitting bone goes down and under, a little to the left. We're going to move to side angle pose. So lengthen out through the right side. Let's take the classic variation today. Ground through the big toe side of the right foot. And inner heel and left arm straight up. Use your block. So you can move the arm and the leg into each other. We still want to feel that right hip hugging under to the left. Left thigh making space. You can turn your left palm forward. Squeeze belly and back together. And get that left arm reaching all the way up overhead. Couple breaths. So can you continue to hug that right thigh under? Lengthen the left side body without moving the left shoulder blade up into your ear. Give it a last breath. And drop the left arm. It's going to pull you back up, second warrior. Inhale. Exhale, get steady. Breathe in, straighten the front leg. And breathe out, triangle pose. Get as long as you are comfortable getting. So you can make a choice here. You can come out the same way we did on the first round. Ardha Hanumanasana into the low lunge. Or you could move your right knee forward in a bend. Take your block or your fingers, sliding left toes in. Ardha Chandrasana. Right. Couple of breaths. Soften that left inner thigh by pointing the left toes down a little bit. Lengthen the tailbone and the crown. Away from each other. Keep rolling that right thigh open and lifting through left inner leg. Left fingers to the earth and left foot meets the right. If you're in the low lunge, you could join us at the top of the mat, or you could take plank through a vinyasa. Right? You could sink back down, malasana, through bakasana. You choose. Stepping or floating. And we'll all arrive back in down dog together. So give it a last breath here. And then we'll move over to the second side, left leg reaching. Step it up. Have that block to the outer left foot. And inhale. All the way up. Get your feet set. Heel to heel, maybe a little narrower. Weight to the inner left foot, but outer hip dropping down. Try to scoop under towards the right. Right leg in neutral, but just pulling straight back to the wall behind, making space. See if you can get in a little deeper. Give it another breath. And then when you're going for it, lengthen out, extended side angle. Drop it down. Open it up. Just keep working front and back together. It's bottom sternum in towards the navel, and shoulder blades into the upper back. We want to keep the weight in the inner left foot and work in the outer left hip. Right palm can turn forward and breathe in. Bottom sternum to navel, breathe out. And then get that right arm reaching over. Whole right side body lengthening. And rolling your belly and your heart towards the sky. Couple deep breaths. All right. Release the arm. Rise it back up. From warrior two. Straight left leg. Breathe in and breathe out. Back in Trikonasana. So you know your pathway. You're either headed to Ardha Chandrasana or you're headed into the half splits, Ardha Hanumanasana. Go ahead and make your choice. Reaching and rising into balance if that's you. Or coming down for the hamstring stretch. Spending a couple breaths there and then into the low lunge. Then you can either step to the top of the mat, lunging, or right fingers down, right foot down. You're at the top of the mat, opening up and folding back down. We're going to just fold in half here, so take a moment. I'm going to show you from the back view. Right arm's going to go inside the legs, and it's going to push into the right inner leg. Then we're going to take the left arm up and over, and we're going to wrap it around. See if you can hang on here. Squeeze the inner thighs in. Press the shoulder blades into the back. So you're going to roll a little towards the right. Your spine's going to start to wrap around the right thigh bone. Let's let that happen. Couple deep breaths. So. And release when you're ready. Let it dangle. Take the left arm through, press it to the left inner thigh, press the left outer leg in, take the right arm up and over to the left side, and then go back for your bind. Hang on, drop those shoulders into the back, squeeze the inner thighs with the outer legs, and try and wrap your spine around the left thigh, like a snake, creeping around a branch. Couple deep breaths. And when you're ready to let it go, you can lengthen back out again. And one more crack from Malasana. You could head back for another Bakasana. Why not? Or you could just step back for your Vinyasa. You choose. We'll meet back in dog pose. Give it a few breaths. As you're ready, we'll take the right leg up. We'll step it up in between the hands. We're going to head right back into second warrior. So rising. Sinking in on the exhale. Breathe in and breathe out. Back to your side angle pose. This time, right arm to the inside of the right leg. Left arm straight up. For a breath, we're going to drop the left hand behind the back. We're going to go for that similar feeling. Pushing right thigh, right arm into each other. Try and get your right arm under and clasp the left wrist or hand. Then both shoulder blades deep into the back. We want to keep that nice deep bend in the right knee and right hip headed under. Left shoulder blade pressing in, belly and heart open to the sky. Couple breaths here. So you can stay here, Release through the vinyasa if you need. If you would like, I'm going to say, you could straighten into the bound triangle. Right. And then bending back into extended side angle bound, we turn the right toes to the side. Hop the left foot close to the right. All the weight goes to the left foot. Ground your inner foot. Draw that right leg up. And rising up, we move those shoulder blades into the back. Try and squeeze the left outer thigh in. And if you're good for it, right leg out. Couple of deep breaths. So bring it back when you're ready. Dropping back down, same way we got in. You want to find your way back through side angle. Down. Chaturanga through the vinyasa. Take your time. We'll enjoy that on the second side. Left leg going up. Right up in between the hands. Nice and narrow, heel to heel. Rising up and rooting in. Give it an extra breath. Finding your feet. Lengthen out. Left arm down the left leg. Pushing arm and leg together. Right arm's going to drop behind the back. Open up. Press that right shoulder blade into your back. See if you can get the left arm under. And then once you get a hold of something, you want to work to move both shoulder blades deep into the back. Work to roll the belly and the heart open to the sky. Keep breathing. Move to the bound triangle if you'd like. Straightening the leg. Back into bound side angle. Bending the knee. Turn the toes to the side. We hop the right foot close to the left. All the weight's going to the right. So left heel comes up. And right outer leg hugs in. Try and rise. Weight into the right inner foot. Open up your chest. Press shoulders in the back. Extend out through the left leg if it's available. Give it a couple deep, mindful breaths. When you're ready to come down, bend in. Sink back. Take your time. Opening back up through the heart. And releasing. Through your vinyasa. Take your time. Back to dog pose. Let's drop to the knees. Cross the heels and swing the legs through. Take a moment in the danda, sit tall. Back of the pelvis wide. Chest and crown uplifted. Let's bend at the right knee. Take the right foot over the left leg. And you can move your left foot a little to the right. Or bend at the left foot and get it all the way around towards the right sitting bone. Ardha Matsyendrasana. Also feel free to sit on a blanket here for some elevation. Nice tall crown. Evenly rooted sitting bones. Pull yourself around to the right. Right hand behind the back. You can take the left arm up if you'd like and hook it over right leg. Shoulder blades down. Crown up. And a nice deep rotation around to the right. Continue to breathe. Your right hip can be a little further back than the left one, allowing the hips to be part of the rotation. Both sitting bones evenly rooted, crown straight up. Shoulder blades into the back, encouraging you around to the right. Give it another breath. And when you're ready, let it go, unwind. Let's stretch it back out. Breathe in. And breathe out, second side. Whatever you did on the first side, just take it a little to the left with the right leg or all the way around. Just sit tall here towards the front edge of the sitting bones. Pull the leg in and lift the crown up. And moving around to the left. Left hand can go behind the back to help you. Aim both sitting bones evenly into the earth. Keep them grounded. Move it around to the left. Right arm can reach and hook over left leg. Get taller. Drop those shoulder blades down and use them into your upper back to help you around. All right, let's give it another breath here. All the way to empty. Inhale, look over the right shoulder. Exhale, unwind the spine. We'll straighten out the legs, the last moment here in the danda. And we'll just cross the shins. Move it back into downward facing dog. All right. From down dog, breathe well. Let's inhale forward to plank. Lengthen in plank. Move over to the left side plank. We're going to take the right knee to the sky like tree pose, big inhale. And I want you to take the ball of the right foot and try and skim it against the back of the left knee. Should bring it to the earth. Then push the ball of the right foot to the earth. Take the right arm all the way up overhead and stretch out the right side body. Let's make sure that left bicep's dialing forward. Tailbone's going to the right, left heel. You might be able to get a little lean back into those shoulder blades. And look up. Nice deep breath then. We're going to exhale. Take the knee to the nose. Foot up in between the hands. And just hop that back leg in a little bit. I'm going to take a moment in the pyramid pose. Let's work to straighten the right leg out. Pull the right thigh straight back. Work the weight into the left foot. Same as warrior one. Inner arch alive in that back leg, heel grounded, and then outer leg squeezing in. Can you get a little longer? Can you fold in a little deeper? Then we'll bring hands to hips. Halfway. Exhale. Belly to back. And rise up. Weight in the back leg. Anything you can do to get things a little more integrated. Let's inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands behind the back to interlace. Nice deep breath in, and then we're going to fold out. Keep pulling right thigh back and lifting that left inner arch, squeezing left outer thigh in. Drop it in. When you're ready, release the hands. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to hop into a lunge. We're going to bring the back leg down. We're going to straighten the front leg out. Great place to use your blocks again. As you lengthen, we are going to move from the back leg forward. So your left hip is right there next to your right one. Keep pulling right thigh back and pushing through the left hip forward. So getting a little closer towards Hanumanasana. Sorry, my blocks are far away. It's a little easier with blocks here, as we're going to continue to try and find our deepest expression. Continue to pull the right thigh back, right hip trying to stay next to the left one, and the left one going forward. And you just figure out where you need to pause when one leg goes a little further forward than the other. Work to give yourself plenty of length and lift. And see what happens as you breathe a few breaths. Keep pulling right thigh back, sinking it down. If it gets close enough to place a block underneath it, go for it. And it's the back leg that is moving up and forward. Trying to lift the front of the pelvis, lengthen the tail to the earth. And you may get all the way down into the splits. Maybe not. It's not about getting in deep. It's about finding that place where you can open with integrity. We're going to pull it all the way back. Ooh. And into downward facing dog. And you can inhale forward to plank. Lower all the way to the earth. We'll take little baby cobra with the chest inhaling. Belly to the back. Tailbone back to those heels. Feel your lower back long and thighs are going to rise. Use the hands to help. Shalambhasana. Reach back, interlace here if you'd like. Breathe deep. And when you're ready, release. Take a child's pose just briefly. Then we're back in dog pose, heart forward, hips high. We'll take the left leg up, step it up in between the hands, and move to your pyramid. A little wider than heel to heel. Both legs straight. Great place to use blocks here as well, if you haven't thought of that yourself already. Pulling the left thigh back and lifting right inner arch, trying to get that right outer hip up and forward. Any amount. So give it another breath here. And we'll get hands to hips, inhale. Belly to back, exhale. Little bend in that left knee as you rise. Weight in the right heel. And root. Tailbone to the earth. Chest uplift. You could take the arms up. Hands behind the back. Big wide chest. Fold it out. Bottom, sternum to navel, and chest open wide. Dropping it. Hands down whenever you need them. Then we're going to hop back into a lunge. We're going to set the right knee down the earth, and we're going to straighten the left leg out again. Grab your blocks or not. Move from the right thigh forward in the pelvis. So the right hip and the left hip continue to be side by side, lengthening out. Dropping in on no man, if it's available, right? Just finding your deepest hamstring stretch and expression. Trying to lift the front of the pelvis, lengthen the tail. You can get really high on those blocks. It helps to stack the torso straight up and down. So there's a lot in common with Virabhadrasana 1. Right. Left hip pulling back, sinking down. Right outer leg squeezing in. Right inner thigh to the sky. Maybe getting something underneath the back of the left leg and softening in there. Trying to organize around it. Maybe continuing to feel your way down. Bottom sternum to the navel. Tailbone to the earth. Nice big open chest. When you have enjoyed that to your satisfaction, make your way out. Just going to bring the knees together and sit back on the heels. Take a moment here. I do want to take us into Dhanurasana. Let's come onto hands and knees and move back into dog pose. And then we will move all the way to the earth. You can bend both knees. Grab a hold of the tops of the feet with both hands. Nice deep inhale. Belly to the back, tail long. And rise through the chest, kicking your feet back. Exhale. Tailbone long. Inner thighs to the sky as you breathe in. Try and get them up. Couple breaths. One more deep inhale. And exhale, slow lower. Now we'll take it back. Through a brief child's pose. Now we're going to sit on the heels. There we go. Bring hands to heart. Interlace palms and press up. Curl the toes, just get that length. Tailbone to the inner knees. Shoulders into the upper back. Wherever you want to bring your hands today, you might experiment with interlacing. Trying to lift up through the top of the chest, keeping bottom sternum to navel, lower back long. So inner thighs back, tailbone down, and then top of the chest full. And If you can lean back into those shoulder blades like a little shelf for your heart. Don't put a big arch in your low back. Put a big curve in the upper back right behind the shoulder blades. If your hands can get back to your heels, fantastic. Chin in, back of the neck long. Tailbone rooting to those inner knees. Lifting from the inner knees all the way up through the pelvic floor, through the front of the spine, up to the heart. And pouring the heart up and back. Give it a last breath. Coming down when you're ready. Go ahead and sit on the heels. Take a brief moment. All right. Move back out onto hands and knees. And from here, let's take the right leg forward into a low lunge. Bring the left leg back a little bit. We're going to walk the right foot a little to the left, so we're heel to knee. We're going to turn the left leg back for a low variation of second warrior. So you can reach the left arm forward and pull all the way up. And open wide side. So the back leg's still in neutral. Hips a little forward, the right thigh's externally rotating. I'm going to take it down. Right arm to the inside of the right foot. Left arm up to the sky. So we're going to see if we can wiggle that right hand back around behind the right heel. And work to give it a little press in there. So you're going to squeeze the right leg around the right arm. You can take the left hand down and hold it. Hug it in. Work to open up the chest. And then see if you can kick that right leg straight. Reaching the left side long. Work to roll open through the belly and the heart. When you have had your fill, let's bring it back out. And take a little breather. You could take a vinyasa if you'd like one. Just make it an easy one. Do maybe a little knees, chest, chin. Cobra. And then pull it back. Down dog. We're just onto the knees. We're going to get the fingertips up on the left foot. Up. Right leg back. And a low warrior two. So front heel intersects the back knee. And if you take the right arm up, you can find that opening. Couple breath here. So this is a half Visvamitrasana. We're going to lengthen out through the side. It's a lot like our extended side angle down low. I'm going to try and get the left hand underneath the thigh to the outside of the little toe side of the left foot. Right arm up. And then as you feel ready, you're going to work to squeeze that left leg up and in. Take the right hand down so you can hold on and help hug it in. And then holding on to the little toe side of the left foot, we work to lengthen out through the left leg. Take the right arm over the ear and breathe deep. Open up. And with lots of love, step it back. Onto your knees. Open up the chest. Chin. Cobra. And then cross the heels, take it back, and roll onto your back. Grounding the heels to the earth. Get all the breath out. Feel some length to the low back and tail. And we'll inhale, hips and arms together. Rolling up in a bridge. Rolling back down. One vertebra at a time. Come up on the inhale. And down on the exhale. Upper back, middle back, lower back sets down before the back of the pelvis. One more time. Arms up, hips up. Work to keep your hips up. We're going to bend at the elbows. Bring the elbows down. Upper arms down. You can push the shoulder heads down. Give the chest a little more lift. Dig the heels in. Soften the inner thighs and feel free to interlace underneath. Get a little higher if it feels good. Another breath or three. Come down when you're ready. All the breath out. We'll rise again to bridge. Lengthening the low back, exhaling and rising up through the pelvis, inhaling. Pause in bridge, or reset your hands for Urdhva Dhanurasana. Hug the elbows, pop to the crown. And then straight arms, straight legs if you can make them. Hug those outer legs in. Soften the inner thighs down. Widen out the front of the chest and deepen the shoulder blades into the back. Come down as you're ready. Pause for a couple breaths. And we'll enjoy one more round if you have it in you, all the way to full. All the breath out. Rising when you're ready. As you soften down to the earth, let's take a moment to relax. Knees can drop in and feet go wide. Let's take the arms straight up. Get the shoulder blades off the ground and wrap around. Give the upper back a little stretch. Second side up. Through the fingers and across. Opposite arm on top. All right. Let's reach the arms all the way up and over. And we'll hug the knees into the chest. Draw the nose and the knees together. You can rock yourself up here. Take a moment to sit tall, stretch out through the legs. And we'll draw the right foot in to the left inner thigh. So for today, let's take that right leg back and back. So it's kind of a cross between that Upavista, wide-legged straddle, and Janu Shirshasana. So we are going to be open with our pelvis a little to the side. I'm just going to change direction. So the heel's somewhere right around the middle of the pelvis. Leg out to the side. We'll inhale. Get nice and tall. You can exhale, twist around to the right. We're going to reach the left arm down the inner left leg. We're going to keep that little twist as we take the right arm up. And we reach over towards the left foot. So a few breaths. Taking your time. May be able to push the left forearm and the left thigh into each other and continue to roll the belly and the heart up. You might get your right fingers to come all the way down to the left toes. And then you might be able to find yourself lengthening a little further. Just want to feel the shoulder blade moving into the upper back and working to push the heart forward. Give it another deep breath. When you're ready, rise. Big inhale. Exhale. You can draw the left foot in. Straighten the right leg out. Get tall here. And twist around to the left knee. Get taller. And right arm to the right inner leg. Left arm up. And stretching out through the left side body. Take your time. Lean into yourself. Keep reaching and lengthening, but shoulders down the back. Moving the heart forward. And just whatever you can find when you get out there. Rising when you're ready. All right. Then we'll bring both feet back in. Just give yourself a breath here. We'll take the classic Janu Shirshasana, right foot to the left inner thigh. Nice big lift and that little twist. So your spine's going to go kind of right in between the leg bones as you fold out. Get long and deepen in. Let's lengthen back out, inhaling. Use the belly to the back. Support your low back for the inhale to come up. And change it out. Rise, maybe a little bit of a twist over top right leg. Hold on to what's possible. Widen the chest. Deepen belly to back and fold. Lengthen out, squeeze, running back together, and rise. All right. So you can choose both legs straight. Start to bring things to a close here. Wide sitting bones. Nice big lift and lengthened torso. And then get a hold of what's possible. Big toes maybe. Widen out. Push out through the inner foot, inner heel. Pull back through little toes and fold in. So when you're ready to release, find some length. I like a little softness in the knees to make the way onto the back. Just take your time. If you need another gentle twist or a happy baby pose or another thread the needle, anything to bring things a little bit back to a place of peace and quiet. Listen in and give yourself that last little bit of unwinding if you need. And we'll enjoy our final relaxation. Stretching out when you're ready. Feel free to remain in Shavasana another 5 to 10 minutes. Or start to bring it to a close with me now with a little wiggle or a circle. Get some gentle familiar movement out the edges of the body. I like to slide the feet back flat on the mat. Breathe the arms overhead, take a gentle roll off to the side. And from there you can linger or just take a moment to gently press up to sit. Let's sit it nice and tall. Take a moment to feel into any changes in the body-mind. And we'll close with hands at heart. Take a little nod, chin to chest, bowing into the presence and the wisdom that resides within the heart. We bow to the one breath, the one life that moves through us all. All right. Namaste. All right. Stay strong, stay powerful, stay peaceful. Power to the people. Black Lives Matter. See you down the road. Have a beautiful day.